ready for the final season of Star vs. the Forces of Evil? If you only gave this series a glance in Season 1, haven't heard of this magical adventure at all, or simply need a recap before Season 4 Narwhal blasts into our living rooms, don't worry. I'm here to give you everything you need to know about the show. I'm Whitney Van Laningham, and this is a crash course to Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Before we begin today's crash course, I want to give a special shout out to all of our sponsors on Patreon. We wouldn't be able to put in all the work necessary to make these videos without your donations, so thanks for everything, you guys. If you haven't started donating yet, what are you waiting for? We've got cool bonuses like your credits at the end of our videos, so consider donating if you've got some extra change and want to become an extended member of the NerdWire family. Also, before we start, I just want to say that this video has a lot of information, but it's not a full replacement for the show. If you like what you see, go support the actual creators by giving the series a watch in its full magical glory on Hulu. All 3 seasons are available there, and the 4th starts March 10th on Disney Channel. Now grab your notebooks, class is in session. Season 1. On Magic Alien Princess Star Butterfly's 14th birthday, she's given a magic wand from her parents, the King and Queen of Muni.
Don't worry, Mom. I can handle it.
Well, she immediately botches that one up, so her parents send her for princess training in another dimension, Earth. She's taken in by the Diaz family and their son Marco, who definitely needs a minute to get used to Star. Mr. and Mrs. Diaz warm up to her the minute she creates laser pugs out of thin air, but Marco isn't exactly the rule-breaking, danger-seeking type, and Star's bizarre personality quirks are a big life adjustment for him. But when he figures out that Star's constant battle with interdimensional monsters can help him utilize his karate skills and up his street cred, he and Star become best friends.
Wait, I don't want you to go. I want you to stay with us.
Really? Hugs!
But there's a problem. Star has another bestie, Princess Ponyhead, voiced by my all-time favorite Jenny Slate. She's a girl who's always down to party, and she's great at helping Star step outside her comfort zone even more than Charity does. But then there's her catty side. Ponyhead gets crazy jealous of Marco and even tries to low-key murder him a couple of times. But in the end, Star helps Ponyhead and Marco realize that you can have more than one best friend, and Ponyhead eases up a little on the jelliness. Unfortunately, the goons from St. Olga's Reform School for Wayward Princesses show up to take Ponyhead to boarding school. Turns out she ran away using her interdimensional scissors, which she gives to Star before leading the security guards on a breakneck chase.
Out of the way, Square!
Interdimensional scissors are pretty much what they sound like. They cut a hole in the space-time continuum and allow you to jump through to whatever dimension you want. But let's back up. Before we really meet any more of Star and Marco's friends, we gotta talk about the villains. Our main Season 1 baddies are Ludo and his monster army, who are hell-bent on stealing Star's wand. With Star's wand, Ludo will be able to take over Muni and prove once and for all that he has what it takes to be a villain. Even though Star and Marco defeat him in their first battle, it's pretty clear that the monster army is gonna be a near constant battle for the two of them from now on.
You want some of this, Ludo?
No. You see, you morons! This is what happens!
Star and Marco grow closer with every adventure they go on and every fight they win. Of course, Star still isn't exactly great at being a magic princess. She causes more disasters than she fixes, and even gave Marco a monster arm with lasting evil powers. And hey man, Marco isn't the perfect battle partner either. In one episode, he accidentally rips a hole in interdimensional space and time and summons Ludo and the monster army. Instead of cheering Star up, Star has to fight them all off before they wreak havoc in town. So basically they have a lot to work on.
Hey! I am on the phone! You monsters are so rude! Syrup Tsunami Shockwave!
Ludo and his monster army also pop up in Quest Buy when Marco and Star are just trying to buy a new wand charger and gets pretty close to actually stealing it. But even without her Rainbow Kitten Nightmare spell, Star still kicks all of their butts. Don't let those heart cheeks fool ya. She's a fearsome warrior beneath all that cute.
So cute.
Like all normal teenagers, Star starts going through puberty, her home planet's version of puberty. But unlike the regular stinky armpits and raging hormones of Earth puberty is pretty intense. Star goes fully boy crazy and has a magical girl transformation into her puberty form. She sprouts purple hearts and wings, develops glowing crazy eyes, grows a few extra limbs. You know, teen stuff.
Hey, you gotta get us out of here.
What the?
Luckily, puberty is over as quickly as it began, and Star grows her puberty wings. So that's cool. I mean, she kinda almost destroyed the school, but when those babies get a little bigger, she'll be able to fly! Gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet, am I right? Also, tuck this whole puberty thing in the back of your noodle for later. It pops back up in a huge battle later on. We also meet Glossaric in this episode, the neutral, all-knowing dude who lives inside Star's magic book of spells. He's not really a good guy or a bad guy. He just kind of is. Sometimes he helps out, sometimes he makes Marco spoon-feed him high school cafeteria pudding.
It's empty. You ate it all.
Scrape the sides!
But his main role in Star's life is to be her magic teacher, guiding her through her book of spells and helping her figure out how to use her wand in a way that won't blow up Muni again. He's all-knowing and definitely a know-it-all.
There has to be more you can tell me than that.
Of course there is. But then, you're out of pudding.
Like any super cool alien princess girl, Star has an evil ex-boyfriend. Literally. He's a demon named Tom, and he and Star broke up because Homeboy definitely has some anger issues. He tricks Star into attending the Blood Moon Ball as his date because, surprise, he doesn't just want to dance with her, he wants to bind his soul to hers for eternity.
I get it. I bet you think that, like, your soul and, like, her soul are totally gonna,
What is?
Because he doesn't trust Star to handle herself on her own, Marco follows her to the ball incognito. Luckily, he steps in and dances with Star under the light of the blood moon instead of Tom, presenting a pretty interesting new element. Star and Marco don't have a romantic relationship as of right now, but their souls are bound together for eternity. It freaks them out at first, but they get over it pretty quickly. It's pretty rad to be so in sync with your best friend.
Well, that was new.
Yeah, weird.
Now go make me some nachos.
Back in Muni, Ludo's in the process of interviewing applicants for a spot in his monster army. Unfortunately, even the incoming applicants are idiots. That is, until Toffee shows up. He's got the confidence to walk right in and appoints himself as Ludo's new right-hand man. This suave lizard man uses his new position to steer Ludo closer and closer to actually defeating Star. His evil is super subtle, and he's able to totally serial killer everyone around him by manipulating them to do whatever he wants. Homie is a stone-cold villain, and even though we see more of Ludo at first, Toffee is the one that we really have to worry about.
A great evil has been unleashed.
Cheers.
All this time, Ponyhead has been stuck at St. Olga's Reform School for Wayward Princesses, and Star wants nothing more than to celebrate her BFF's birthday with her. Of course, St. O's hates anything even remotely related to partying, and after they almost catch her talking to Star, the guards force Princess Ponyhead to spend time in solitary confinement. What's an interdimensional princess to do? Plan a goddamn jailbreak, that's what! Star has interdimensional scissors, and Marco is a huge fan of Shawshank Redemption, so the two of them decide that they have to break Ponyhead out. But there's one problem. St. Olga's is much more heavily guarded than Star initially thought. Her interdimensional scissors are thwarted by the school's Tramorphidian Crystal Tower, which blocks all use of interdimensional scissors on and off school grounds so that no one can leave. The dorms also have escape-proof cells, the castle is surrounded by a bottomless moat of oblivion, and sensors are placed every 25 feet to make sure no magic is being used. When Star's scissors can only take them so far, she disguises herself and Marco to blend in with the fresh batch of enrollees.
Transform!
Oh, you couldn't turn me into one of those guards with the cool masks?
I don't know. Pink is definitely your color.
Damn, Marco makes a pretty attractive princess. When they finally find her, Ponyhead appears to be totally brainwashed. All of her individuality has been completely stamped out, and she's basically a weird Stepford pony version of her normal party girl self. Not even Star can snap her out of it, so they decide to take her out of the castle and deal with it later. While trying to sneak Ponyhead quietly out of the castle, Marco can't handle it anymore and leads the wayward princesses in a revolt.
Well, they are not getting my individuality.
That's it. It's not criminal to be an individual.
During their escape, Marco gets snatched up and, since he's still in full princess garb, is sent to the conformment chamber where they try to clockwork orange him into a subservient princess, just like they did to Ponyhead. But But luckily, seeing Star upset snaps Ponyhead out of it, and the girls set off to rescue Marco, aka Princess Turdina, from those fun suckers.
Oh, you know it. Now let's go destroy something else. I don't even care what it is.
This episode also introduces us to Miss Hayne, who ends up becoming an even bigger baddie as the series continues. In Season 1, however, Miss Hayne is primarily hell-bent on forcing princesses to stifle their uniqueness.
Yes, we are extinguishing that rebellious spirit.
Towards the end of Star, Marco, and Princess Ponyhead's jailbreak, however, she struggles to retain her composure as a totally blank person and finally cracks. Little club markings appear on her cheeks that look suspiciously like they could be Mumin. This hints that she might be related to Star, but we'll have to wait till later to find out.
I'm so sorry, Ferguson.
Do something! He's writhing in pain! Oh, never mind. He stopped.
It's a mother flippin' LARP episode! We learn more about the history of Muni, how the Mumins settled the New World, had to fight the monster army for ultimate control of Muni, and also that they grow a lot of corn. But when Star recounts the Great Monster Massacre between Monster and Mumin, Marco points out that the Mumins totally have an unfair advantage against the poor monsters. Their magic and enhanced weapons make them almost undefeatable. Ludo and Toffee use the battle reenactment as an opportunity to spy on Star and her friends, using the All-Seeing Eye, a webcam concealed inside of an eyeball, to spy on their reenactment and gain intel.
And it's not like she's going to notice a real monster.
Those aren't real?
Okay. Now, who'd like to bring Ludo his wand?
Toffee then sends Buff Frog to steal the wand from Star, and when he fails, Toffee forces Ludo to fire Buff Frog, casting him out of the monster army. Luckily, Star is still there to be sweet to him, even though he's been pretty bad.
Please help me. You're right. I was using my wand too much, but I am Star Butterfly, an independent woman with fists like hammers.
When Star accidentally grows Marco a beard that takes over the entire Diaz home, she accidentally loses her wand and his long, luscious locks. Unfortunately, Toffee and Ludo pick up on this and lead the monster army to attack Star and take the wand while she's unarmed. But sucks to suck, Ludo! Instead of finally defeating her, Ludo has a PTSD flashback of getting tickled at his birthday party when he was a child and ends up collapsing into a fit of giggles instead of grabbing the wand.
You don't need magic for everything.
When they return to his castle, Toffee basically tells him how useless he is as a leader and convinces all of the monster henchmen to turn against him. Ludo is forced out of the castle, and now Toffee's in charge. This isn't great for Star, Muni, or really anyone, because Toffee is secretly a totally cold, evil mastermind. He's been waiting for Ludo to screw up enough that he could turn everyone against him and become the leader. Of course, Ludo and the rest of the monsters are kinda too stupid to notice this, and Toffee rises to power pretty easily.
Who's the better leader? Ludo? Or me?
During the Season 1 finale, Toffee kidnaps Marco after Marco and Star get in a huge fight, causing Star to blame herself. She vows to get him back at all costs.
No, the little fly man said for me to come alone.
Hey,
You're wrong, by the way. This is my fault. I'll take care of it myself.
Star is told to bring her wand to Ludo's castle if she ever wants to see her best friend alive again, so she sets off to fight the monster army once more. But Star has no idea that Ludo has been kicked out and that Toffee has taken over. She's able to convince Ludo and Buff Frog to help her overthrow Toffee and rescue Marco, but it turns out that it's not that easy. Toffee is different from Ludo in a lot of ways.
He knows about you, and he does not like your magic.
Oh, yeah? Well, I don't like his...
For starters, he doesn't even want Star's wand. He wants to destroy it. He can also do this weird thing where all of his limbs regenerate except for one of his fingers. Remember that missing finger, because we'll come back to it later. In order to prevent Marco from not being squished, Toffee forces Star to perform the whispering spell on her wand, which is the first spell her mother ever taught her.
Star?
I'm sorry.
The wand explodes, destroying Ludo's castle. Also, Ludo gets eaten by a big chicken and pooped out into an egg, so there's that.
Where is my castle?
It's gone.
And where is your wand?
That's gone too.
The biggest problem? When the wand exploded, some of the pieces were left in the monster realm, which cleaved the wand. Even though the Italian Warnicorn creates a new wand for Star, the King and Queen of Muni are still super worried about the cleavage. Cleavage. This whole wand problem is definitely going to come up again in later seasons, and lucky for you, I'm going to break down the next season right now. Season 2. Well, Season 2 starts off with a bang. While Star is introducing her new wand to Marco, it starts zooming around the room and locks him in a closet. The wand locks itself inside of Star's book of spells, and she and Marco can't figure out how to free it. That's when Glossaryx shows up to teach Star more magic. He even has instructions for Marco, to find the secret in Star's closet if he wants to help her unlock the door.
Secret? Which one? Here we go.
Glossaryx then proceeds to teach Star to dip down into herself to find the magic within. He uses the metaphor of reaching into a large cauldron of soup to scoop out all the tasty stuff at the bottom beneath the broth. It sounds weird, but we're gonna come back to it later in the season, so just keep thinking soupy thoughts.
Try dipping down for the chunks.
Back in the closet, Glossaryx nudges Marco to find Star's diary, and when he opens it, he finds a chapter on himself that could reveal Star's secret. Star begs him not to read it, but knowing she's powerless to stop him, finally figures out how to dip down and perform magic on the closet door without her wand.
I dipped, Marco! I'm not a skimmer! I dipped!
Ow!
Sorry, but don't read my journal.
Ah!
In the next episode, there's not a ton of plot development, so I'm just gonna give you the Reader's Digest real quick. Ludo is living in the wild, struggling to find food and shelter to sustain himself. Eventually, he battles and tames a giant spider and a giant eagle to do his bidding, and manages to master living outdoors. But here's the important bit. While stumbling through the woods, Ludo happens upon the missing piece of Star's cleaved wand, which has made itself into a new wand attached to a rock and a skeleton hand. Of course, Ludo is jazzed to finally have his hands on a wand, and probably immediately starts plotting his comeback. Alright, so now that our protagonist and antagonist both have wands, it's high time they learn how to use them. In this episode, Star figures out that her wand is powered by compassion, and that whenever she gets angry or frustrated, her wand turns normal magic things into evil magic things. Ludo, on the other hand, learns to control his wand with his anger. So basically, Star is Harry's wand and Ludo has Voldemort's. Only Ludo is a lot stupider than Voldemort.
What? Do it again! Not you, you stupid!
This next episode is another character-driven episode that only affects the overall plot in that we meet a new character, Mina Loveberry. Mina Loveberry is Star's hero. She's apparently the greatest warrior Muni has ever known, but she's also a little mentally unstable. She tries to train Star to be a better warrior, but ultimately just makes her do a bunch of illegal stuff. Tight.
We have learned there are no rules on this planet. It's an anything-goes fight to the death.
Mina also attempts to convince Star to help her take over Earth, but of course Star refuses.
We're gonna have so much fun ruling these folks. I've made a huge mistake.
This upsets Mina, but eventually she realizes that Earth has a democracy and is defeated by the power of voting. Mina shows up later in the series in more important ways, so keep her tucked away in the back of your noggin for a minute.
This thing is impossible to...
Back on Muni, Ludo still hasn't quite mastered the use of his wand. That is, until his wand starts communicating with him telepathically. The wand tells him to go get Star Butterfly, even though Ludo's convinced that she doesn't have a wand anymore. He grabs the spider and the eagle, and the three of them head for Earth. Meanwhile, Star is having trouble of her own. She's not exactly digging the new, more difficult spells Glossaryx is trying to teach her, and because she's so bored with the lesson, none of her spells are working properly.
Look, I know how to cast a spell, okay? Twirl, 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 helicopter arms, unicorn stampede! See, I did it.
She's especially having trouble with the incantation dance that will help her summon a herd of warnicorns, and accidentally tells Glossaryx that he's no fun when he tries to critique her unenthusiastic performance. Homie ends up hiding in his donut box with Star and Marco desperately trying to get him out.
I am so sorry, Glossaryx. No, of course you're our friend.
Is he though? All this guy has ever done for us is hand out weird riddles and eat pudding.
Unfortunately, the donut box accidentally ends up in a garbage compactor right when Ludo and company land on Earth. Both of them are floored that the other has a wand and try to battle each other, even though neither of them can wield their magic instruments properly. While they're fighting with their non-functional spells, Glossaryx's donut box gets squished in the trash compactor.
Glossaryx! Oh no, Glossaryx!
Star and Marco are both convinced that he's dead, until of course he restores the donut box and pops out seconds later. Glossaryck summons the Book of Spells and encourages Star to study and perform the incantation dance once more. The good news? Her Warnicorn stampede sends Ludo back to Muni. The bad news? Now Ludo knows she has a spell book for him to steal.
There. What do you think?
I love it! Me next, me next, me next. And make me look exactly like Star.
During Star's first sleepover at the Diaz home, Ponyhead suggests they play a super intense truth-telling game because she can sense that Marco is totally crushing on Jackie Lynn Thomas. And by she can tell, I mean Marco is full-on playing jazz piano in a bad boy vest in the living room. They gather around a cube called Truth or Punishment that is exactly what it sounds like. A crazy all-truth, no-dare game that hurts you if you lie. At first, the lies are pretty harmless.
Some things are better kept secrets.
What are you talking about?
Oh, Marco, come play with us.
Yeah, Marco, come share secrets.
He's coming!
I hate you.
Jana lies and says her favorite color is black instead of pink because she hates gender stereotypes, and Jackie Lynn, Starfan 13, Ponyhead, and Jana all lie and say that they love Star's gross magic brownies. But dang, yo, the punishments are severe. First, they get a fun dose of electroshock therapy, and next, their bodies are turned into crazy Cronenberg monsters.
Okay, I lied. The brownies were horrible.
Truth!
All of them are super overplaying this game, but it forces them to answer one last question.
Who do you have a crush on?
We end up finding out that Marco has a crush on Jackie Lynn Thomas, and even though Star wins her battle against the cube reveals that Star likes Marco just before it's crushed by yet another trash compactor. Luckily, no one hears it, but now we know for sure that things are about to get weird.
Destroy the blonde one, but bring the dark-haired one to me.
Remember Miss Hayne from St. Olga's in Season 1? The good news is she's no longer the headmistress after the princess's uprising. Unfortunately, she's out for blood, specifically Marco's, for starting the Princess Riot in the first place. This mission is exacerbated when the gift card Star got Marco for their friendship anniversary accidentally kills Rastakor, her right-hand man. Rastakor's death pushes her over the edge, and she vows to destroy Marco. Tom's also got a thing out for Marco, but his life coach Brian wants him to patch things up, telling Tom that if he can spend 10 hours with Marco without losing his cool, he'll graduate anger management. The two spend the day bonding, and an unlikely bromance actually forms between Star's two favorite dudes. When the magic in Star's wand starts to get even wonkier, Glossaryck deduces that her wand is contaminated and that she'll have to dive into it to repair it. He explains that wands are tied to memories, and in order to root out the corruption, she'll have to find the piece that doesn't belong in her memories. Easier said than done, as this self-inception quest lends itself to distractions that can trap the diver inside the wand with old memories getting overwritten with new ones. It's a little timey-wimey for a cartoon, but essentially the longer you stay inside a wand, the risk of being trapped by your memories becomes greater exponentially. Star's quest for the thing that doesn't belong takes her into what she calls the Grandma Room, a room depicting the stories of all the queens of Muni before her. Here we get a nice helping of lore and insight into Star's ancestors. Selena the Shy, for instance, was a keeper of cosmic secrets, Celeria the Monster Carver was a tough-as-nails warrior queen, and Eclipsa the Queen of Darkness left her betrothed king for a monster that she fell in love with.
Ooh, bad girl.
There's plenty to unpack there with that last one, but that's for Season 3. For now, the most important information Star learns is that her mother once battled Toffee. Toffee's finger then pops out of her mother's tapestry, and Star retrieves it as the thing that doesn't belong.
I think we did it.
Yeah, that's kind of gross. Let's get rid of it.
Apparently, removing that severed digit from her wand did the trick because her wand starts working from there on out. Later, Glossaryck is summoned to the bureaucracy of magic by the Magic High Commission, a group of mages born of Glossaryck's magic that are tasked with maintaining the universe. There's Lekmet the High Chancellor, Hekapu the Enforcer of Interdimensional Travel and Magic Scissors, Rhombulus the Muscle and Warden of the Crystal Dimension, and Omnitraxus Prime, the Master of Space-Time. They've got some real estranged father vibes with Daddy Gloss, but Queen Moon quiets the room to explain that they have discovered a magical fritz that is draining the universe of all of its magic, and that they can't find the source. Moon wants Glossaryck to accelerate Star's training in preparation for the impending evil. Glosseric gets all, I'm literally as old as time, don't tell me how to do my job. Now do yours and fix this magical Fritz so I can focus on training Star. But just because Star and Marco are potentially facing down a universe-destroying threat doesn't mean that they're free from a little relationship drama. Echo Creek school dance is coming up and Jackie Lynn Thomas asks Marco to be her date. Nice.
Are you okay?
Jackie Lynn Thomas just asked me to the dance, and I said yes.
But unfortunately, he'll have to break off his plans to go to the dance with Star as friends. Star's fine with this though, because Jana has plans of summoning a clown on the anniversary of his death, and that's way cooler than some dumb middle school bumping and grinding. But whoa girl, JLT is radiant in her seafoam dress, and seeing Marco all cleaned up in a suit on her arm is starting to make Star confront those pesky romantic feelings she has for her bud head on. Marco and Jackie end up blowing off the lame dance for a moonlit date at the park, while Star and Jana set up a spooktacular seance for Bon Bon. Still, Star can't shake her jealousy, and she ends up looking up a spying spell in Eclipse's forbidden chapter. The all-seeing eye shows her Marco's date, and his chemistry with Jackie causes Star's magic to go a tad haywire. It looks like fate is on Star's side though, because as Marco has his first kiss with JLT, the blood moon shows up to give him an ominous look of disapproval. That's when Beastmaster Ludo appears and attacks Star and Jana. Marco senses something is wrong, and Jackie joins him in reinforcing Star in battle, but whoops! Seeing the happy couple together distracts Star, and Ludo is able to nab her book of spells. Finally, the bird boy is able to chalk up a win for himself. Star, on the other hand, is devastated about losing her book, and with it, Glosseric.
I've lost Glosseric!
We'll get him back too. I promise.
Instead of telling her mother like a responsible person, Star strikes out on her own rescue mission to retrieve her book. She once again summons the all-seeing eye, this time to find Glosseric and pull him back to her. Glosseric notes that the all-seeing eye has never been used like this, and is impressed with Star's groundbreaking use of magic, but ultimately he's bound to the spellbook, which he can't reach, and he's not exactly gonna forego his duty for Star. After being heartbroken by Glosseric's indifference to her friendship, she calls her parents, who tell her that they'll take care of Ludo and the book. Due to Star's mishap with her book of spells, her mother sends Baby, the magic evaluator, to Earth in order to assess if she's capable of being left alone without Glosseric's guidance. Baby asks Star to move an apple from one end of the room to another using magic, which she promptly fails, due to her only knowing battle magic. In a last-minute effort, Star grows a magical apple tree to convince Baby to let her stay on Earth.
It's perfect.
When Baby reports back to Muni, she informs them that Star failed because she has no basic use of magic. But, and this is a big one, Star has shown herself to be incredibly powerful, surpassing Queen Moon and rivaling only the Dark Queen Eclipse. So, yeah, she's safe on Earth for the time being. When Marco gets a little scissor happy and cuts like 19 different holes in the space-time continuum with Star's interdimensional scissors, he accidentally opens up Hekapoo's portal. Remember how Ponyhead gives Star those scissors in like the first episode of season 1? Turns out they were never Ponyhead's to begin with. She stole them from the bathroom counter at the Bounce Lounge when Hekapoo wasn't looking, and Baby Girl's been trying to hunt them down ever since. She seizes them back from Marco, who vows to return the scissors to Star at all costs. The two engage in a 16-year battle, with Hekapoo daring him to find her original form in a sea of clones and blow out the flame above her head. During this time, sweet little Marco becomes a full-on man, complete with a set of abs I'd love to lick tequila off of. He also adopts a pretty dope dragon cycle that he names Nachos. Marco has a really hard time agreeing to come back to Earth with Star, because even though he's only been gone for 8 minutes in our dimension, he's lived over a decade and a half in Hekapoo's. Can you imagine becoming a full-on adult and then having to return to your 14-year-old body? But whatever. Star reminds him that even though it sucks that he had to come back, at least now he has his very own pair of interdimensional scissors, and the respect of Hekapoo.
No! My hot bod! Where did it go?
Squeak. Oh, I guess you're back on Earth's timeline now.
Soon after, Star and Marco are kidnapped and crystallized by Rhombulus, that guy from the Magic High Commission with diamond nips. He's convinced that Star is causing the interdimensional Fritz. In order to figure out who the evil person is who's causing the Fritz, Rhombulus has been trusting his gut to tell him who's evil enough to crystallize and who isn't. He even ends up freezing Lekmet right as he's about to turn him into the Magic High Commission for kidnapping Queen Butterfly's daughter. Of course, once Romulus frees Star, Star tries to tell him that she has nothing to do with it, and teaches him that maybe if he jumped to conclusions a little less frequently, he wouldn't have turned a bunch of random innocent people into crystals, like the High Chancellor or this pizza guy.
And then there's Pizza Delivery Guy. Delivered the pizza to the wrong address!
But while they're talking, Star reveals that Glossaryck and the Book of Spells are gone for good, and Romulus agrees to keep her secret safe from the rest of the Magic High Commission as long as she promises not to tell anyone about his insane crystal rampage. Back at Ludo's headquarters, Glossaryck is bound to help Ludo become as powerful as possible as the new owner of the Book of Spells. Even though Ludo is prepared for Glossaryck to put up a fight about teaching him magic, to his surprise, Glossaryck is more than willing to start him on his training. After mastering a simple levitation spell, aka Levitato, Ludo is too excited to fall asleep. His wand starts communicating with him again, this time letting him know that Glossaryck has been hiding part of the Book of Spells from him. After finding out that Star has seen the secret chapter, Ludo demands that Glossaryck let him see it too. Glossaryck warns him that opening up that chapter could taint him, but Ludo is too consumed with becoming more powerful, so he opens up Eclipse's chapter in the book anyways. His body is immediately possessed by Toffee, who is very clearly not done trying to take over Muni. Nothing really plot-heavy happens in the Just Friends episode where Star takes Marco and Jackie Lynn Thomas to a Love Sentence concert, but I want to tell you guys a couple of really quick things anyways. You guys! Marco and JLT actually get to make the heck out in this episode! Look at those sweet little smooches! But on the other hand, their kissing reminds Star that she definitely has a crush on Marco, and even though she tried her best to be cool about the two of them dating, she just isn't. But her feelings for Marco don't stay secret for long. After meeting with Rubariat to come up with a more truthful, transparent princess song for her song day, Homeboy reveals way too much to a very sensitive public audience. Not only does he croon about Queen and King Butterfly covering for Star and lying to the entire human race about the whereabouts of Glossaryck in the Book of Spells, but he also tells the entire dimension that Star likes Marco. I know they've been building towards this reveal for a while, but even though I knew it was coming, it still really put me on edge. In the Season 2 finale, the Magic High Commission tracks down Ludo to get Glossaryck back once and for all. But when they show up to the Monster Temple, Toffee takes over Ludo's body once again and absolutely wipes the floor with them. Each time he absorbs their magic, Lekmet uses his own force to revive each of them, which ultimately kills him in battle. Moon tries to fight Toffee in her Muberty form, but unfortunately he spanks her too, and Moon is forced to retreat. Toffee warns her that he'll be coming to collect his severed finger from Star, sending Moon into a panic. When she arrives on Earth to collect her daughter, it turns out that Star is still dealing with the fallout from Rubariat's reveal on Song Day. Things are still weird between her and Marco, and even though she tries to keep it cool, she ultimately decides this might be the last time she sees Marco and confesses that her crush on him is real.
Some stuff just came up, and I've only got a little time.
Wait, why? We got the entire summer.
Marco, I don't know how to tell you this because you're my best friend.
Star?
And that makes this super weird because...
What's wrong?
Because I
do have a crush on you.
And with that, Star and Moon disappear, ending Season 2. Season 3. Season 3 starts off with Moon and Star on the lam, which is stressful enough with Toffee on their tail, but things are exacerbated thanks to the universe's magic draining due to the ever-growing interdimensional Fritz. Moon's game plan is simple. Get the Magic High Commission's body to a hidden sanctuary where she can revive all of them in the Well of Magic, regroup her forces, and eliminate Toffee for good. There's an issue though. The Fritz has hit the Wellspring of Magic hard, and the sanctuary's rejuvenating waters have turned to black sludge. So it's on to Plan B. Hiding in fear! Moon explains that her mission now is to bunker down in the sanctuary and keep Toffee's finger hidden so that he can't return to his full power. Star's like, nah ma, I beat Suit Lizard once, I can do it again. But Moon insists that the magic in Star's wand is tied to Toffee, and using it will only alert him to their location. Star accuses Moon of being a weak coward, making Moon burst into tears and drop one heck of an expositional nuke on Star. Moon wasn't always so cold and controlling, but she had to mature into a proper warrior queen of Muni after Toffee and his monsters killed her mother when she was Star's age.
And they're the ones who put your mama in a wooden nightgown. You know, they put her on ice. Drapes down in Fun Town.
Thank you, Mina.
In an episode-long flashback, we learn that Star's grandmother, Comet Butterfly, was planning to sign a peace treaty with the monster's Archduke Batwin when his general Toffee went rogue and assassinated her in a power play for the throne. Seeing that desperate times call for desperate measures, Moon stoically took up the mantle of queen and sought out the power of the forbidden spells penned by her banished ancestor, Eclipsa. She visits Eclipsa, who has been held in stasis in the crystal dimension for over 300 years. In exchange for her teachings, Eclipsa barters for her freedom, making a binding contract with Moon that will free her upon Toffee's death. With her newly obtained dark magic, Moon strolls up to Toffee and his forces by herself. She extends an offer to the monsters to leave peacefully, but they laugh in her face. So, Moon fires off the darkest spell as a warning shot, careful not to kill him, and release Eclipsa.
Enough of this.
Although the darkest spell only took Toffee's finger, it proves to nullify his regeneration and invincibility, making the monster army flee for their lives. Moon vows that the protection of Muni is her sworn duty, and she will stomp out every trace of the monster army.
Which one of you am I talking to right now?
Which one? It's me, Ludo!
Snapping back to the present, we learn that while Star and Moon hide in the sanctuary, Ludo has awoken with no knowledge of Toffee taking over his body. Glossaryck tells Ludo that he defeated the Magic High Commission and that the Book of Spells is now sorta his again, but also sorta not, because the book is hardcore denying him. Annoyed that the Book of Spells won't give him access to its contents, he burns it, destroying Glossaryck in the process. Toffee then directs Ludo towards Muni. With Moon in hiding, the defenseless kingdom has started to stagnate. River, indulging in time away from the old ball and chain, has driven the citizens mad with his constant raves and incompetency. Luckily, Marco uses his interdimensional scissors to check in on Star and stops River before Muni starts to look like France circa 1789. With Marco's help, River is able to inspire his kingdom to band together and scare away a Godzilla monster trailing in the cornfields. This victory is short-lived, however, and Ludo appears with his Ratkin army to overthrow the throne. Ludo becomes king and tosses Marco and River in jail in hopes that they'll eventually help him earn the trust and respect of the Mumins. Being Ludo, he's also a dunce who leaves a stick of butter in their jail cell that Marco uses to escape. River eats the butter because he is also a dunce.
River! Did you eat the butter, River? I used to be king.
Ultimately, the king refuses to escape, choosing instead to stand by his subjects, so Ludo levitatos River out into space. Meanwhile, the magic sanctuary has flooded with the black sludge, forcing Moon and Star to seek shelter elsewhere. Star takes Moon to Buffrog's home, but Moon's a bit of a monster racist, so it isn't an ideal Airbnb for the queen.
We cannot stay with him. He's a monster!
Mom, get with the times. Not all monsters are bad.
Through the magic of board games, however, Moon and Buffrog learn to put aside their prejudices and see the shared humanity in one another, particularly when it comes to the unbreakable love they have for their children. As they bond, Star sneaks out to save Muni from Toffee.
I'll see you after I destroy Toffee. She's gonna die.
Star gets the drop on Tyrant King Ludo, telling him that Toffee is living inside of him and pulling his strings. Ludo notices his declining sanity and accepts her offer to remove Toffee. Star casts the Whispering spell on Ludo's wand hand, and everything goes kaboom, just as Moon, Buffrog, and Marco show up to rescue Star. When the dust settles, Star's reinforcements discover that she's now trapped inside Ludo's body, and she isn't alone.
Hello, princess.
Toffee welcomes Star to her new home, the realm of magic that he's responsible for corrupting. He takes control of Ludo and offers to exchange Star's life for his severed finger. Moon agrees, and Toffee mutates Ludo's body into his own, spitting out Ludo like a cherry pit. Star, on the other hand, is implied to be killed when Toffee crushes the cleaved half of her wand embedded in his hand. Moon is driven into a frenzy and casts the darkest spell on Toffee to no avail. Marco then punches a hole through Toffee's heart, but again, the Lizard Prince shrugs it off. Instead of killing our heroes, he simply neutralizes them and leaves them in emotional turmoil. So that's sorta benevolent, I guess.
Maybe if I put the wand back together, it'll bring her back. But this piece won't fit.
Meanwhile, in the corrupted realm of magic, Star lives. Kind of. Unfortunately, she drowns trying to gather what little magic still hasn't been turned to sludge. She awakens with Glossaryck in a void of nothingness, who tells her that she's probably dead, but he's got some tasty soup. But then she has a realization.
Oh, you're going out of your way to make me get to this on my own. Oh, you didn't think I'd catch on, Glossaryck, because you think I'm a skimmer. But I am a dipper.
Star dips down into the boiling soup and finds a grain of magic, and it's showtime, baby! With her power, the realm of magic starts to revitalize itself, reviving the Magic High Commission in the Sanctuary and creating a new Warnicorn for her wand, which in turn levels up.
Star! Hi, Mom! Hi, sweetie. Don't you look lovely?
Star transports herself back to Muni, and with her new wand, achieves a golden Muberty form that absolutely obliterates Toffee. Well, almost. Because Toffee's so powerful, he's still got a little kick in him, but Ludo steps in and delivers a death blow.
Only I know how this all turns out.
It turns out you're dead.
The day is saved, and this miniseries concludes with Ludo heading back into the wild for some soul-searching, River returning all the Levitatoed Mumins on the back of a race of eagles he befriended, and Moon seeking out Eclipsa in fear of her contract coming true. At first glance, it appears that Eclipsa is still encased in the crystal dimension, but as Moon leaves, her prison cracks and it's confirmed that Toffee is dead and she will soon be free. In the wake of the Battle of Muni, Marco is returned to Earth, while Star stays with the royal family as they mourn the losses of Lekmet and Glossaric. Star keeps seeing visions of her old mentor, but her family urges her to move on.
Glossaric! Glossaric! Glossaric!
After a quick conference with paranormal expert Jana, Star comes to the conclusion that Glossy is haunting her because she's kept the charred remains of his spellbook. To exorcise his ghost, she drops the remains into the Sanctuary's well of magic and awakens the next day to find Glossaric reborn, albeit more feral, a little dumb, and unable to speak anything but the word globgore.
Globgore.
For the most part, things settle back to a magical, mundane status quo in Muni. Star and Tom reconnect and reignite their relationship, and Star is taken to raising Glossaric like a little puppy. She even takes him for walks in the park where she meets a kind lady who knows how to keep him calm. It's a big surprise for Star when she discovers that said lady is actually Eclipsa. Probably not for you because we just showed several clips of her literally seconds ago. When the Magic High Commission arrests her, Star vouches for her, saying that there's no hard evidence of any wrongdoing and convinces Moon to give Eclipsa a fair trial.
It sounds like Eclipsa didn't deserve to be crystallized. I mean, what's next? You gonna crystallize me if I do something you don't approve of?
Give us the room.
While the commission prepares for the trial, Eclipsa is confined to the Rose Gardens Tower, which isn't the worst spot. It was, after all, her old room, and that view is nice, and it sure beats the heck out of Crystal Prison. At this point, both Star and the viewer are left unsure of Eclipsa's true motives. Sure, she's mastered the dark arts, but maybe she faced more discrimination than the High Commission is willing to admit. Mumins are known to hate change, so maybe Eclipsa's shacking up with a monster incited an unjust imprisonment. We'll get to the bottom of that question soon, but for now, let's check in on Marco.
Oh no. Hey there, big guy.
Hey, Mama.
Back on Earth, Marco is trying to reacclimate to modernity, but can't shake the fact that he helped save a magic kingdom and was knighted by the GD King himself. He wears his night cape everywhere, and honestly, the denizens of Echo Creek are kinda put off by it.
How long has it been since you took off your cape?
That's not relevant.
But it kind of feels like you went to Muni and you never really came back.
Even though Jackie Lynn Thomas tries to show him that Earth can still be magical, his heart is still off in Muni. She breaks up with him, letting him know that it's okay to chase a new chapter in his life. So, Marco uses those trusty scissors and hops his way back to Muni. With Star's blessing, Marco moves into the castle to become her personal squire, working with her to one day become an official knight of Muni's royal guard. Now that the band is back together, one of the first trips they take is back to St. O's, where the princesses have decided to give Marco, once again aka Princess Turdina, an honorary degree.
But you told us to never conform! If you weren't being honest about who you are, then this whole school would be built on a lie!
Oh.
Throughout this episode, Marco works up the courage to come clean to his fans about his true identity. And just as he's about to reveal that he's not a princess, but a boy, Miss Haynes party crashes and outs him herself. She, a partially regenerated Rastakor, and Gemini do battle with the princesses, who accept Marco regardless.
Nothing he said was wrong!
Yeah! He can think for himself and so can we!
He can be a princess if he wants to!
Turdina's a state of mind!
That's real sweet. Their love for Turdina sends Haynes packing, but not without a loss of their own. They kidnap the obnoxious Princess Smushy so that Haynes can steal her youth. Ever had one of those crazy vivid dreams where you wake up sad because the snacks you were munching on were so choice in your sleep? Star has that problem too, only it's because she's been traveling to the Goblin Dog dimension in her sleep every night and eating dozens of LSD hot dogs. Marco agrees to watch her at night to make sure she doesn't dimension hop in her sleep, but when he wakes up, Star is floating there snarfing goblin dogs in her golden Muberty form.
But when I opened my eyes, you had opened a portal and gone through it.
Without dimensional scissors?
You came out of the portal as that big, scary thing you turned into when you defeated Toffee.
When she asks her parents what it could mean that she's randomly transforming without intending to, they tell her it's impossible and that the Magical High Commission would lock her up indefinitely if that's really what's going on. Of course, Star decides not to tell them and instead takes advice from Eclipsa, who encourages her to see where those interdimensional travel dreams are taking her.
Hold on to my abs. They'll keep you safe.
Hey, Mr. Muscles, just keep driving.
Just looking out for your safety.
Over on Dimension X103, it turns out that Marco has been working with Hekapoo every night to close up all of the mystery portals that have been opening up in the multiverse. Unfortunately, Marco hasn't told Hekapoo that Star's Muberty form is the one opening up the portals. H-Poo decides to hire a hardcore mercenary to help them kill the thing responsible for opening so many random portals. The punishment seems pretty harsh, but to be fair, Star is causing danger to pretty much every civilization inside of them across the entire multiverse.
My job is to stop whatever comes out of that portal.
Incoming!
There it is!
Oh yeah!
Stop!
Although Marco tries to stop them from killing Star as she flies in through the portal, Hekapoo and Talon are hell-bent on firing a death harpoon at her. Just as Hekapoo is about to take her out, she realizes that it's Star and dragon cycles the harpoon as far away from her as possible. Star is saved, but H-Poo fires Marco as her sidekick. She hands him a piece of paper tracking Star's flights, and Marco promises to stay away from Dimension X103, forfeiting his adult Marco body, Nacho, his friendship with Hekapoo, and all of their adventures. He's super bummed out, but realizes that he'd rather keep Star safe as her squire. But even though Marco has decided to go back to squiring full-time, something keeps calling Star into the portal dimension every night. Marco and Jana agree to help Star travel as far as she can into the multiverse to see if she can figure out what she's meant to do with these uncontrollable magic powers. With her friends monitoring her back in the castle, Star sets out to find the source of the mysterious screeching sound she's been hearing every night in her dreams. Eventually, she reaches a glowing gold portal and steps inside, much to Marco's horror.
No!
As he scrambles to figure out where she could possibly be, Star is snuggle attacked by a bunch of baby unicorns who claim they've been waiting for her. They lead her to the Firstborn, aka the mill horse Star created when she made her new wand here in the realm of magic. That cuddly little baby unicorn is all grown up into a full-sized one and convinces Star to travel with her through the realm of magic until she completely forgets her name and allows herself to dissolve into the magic around her. Just before she loses all sense of who she is, Marco uses Star's wand to contact her and tell her to come home.
Wait, where are you going? Don't go. I'm sorry, I have to.
Star wakes up just in time and portals back to the castle. In front of Marco and Jana, she's able to transform to and from her Muberty form at will, unlike any magical alien princess before her.
I can do it. At will!
Throughout this season, Star has been hard at work trying to mend the relationship between humans and monsters. She lands Buff Frog a job as Muni's royal monster expert and starts a petition of friendship designed to bring equal rights to the monsters in her realm. She even gets a good portion of princesses and princes to sign the petition, but things start to hit the fan in the episode Monster Bash.
Ooh, but girl, this looks more like a standoff than a party. There's tension.
Ugh, maybe I pushed too hard and they aren't ready for this.
In the episode, Star throws a mixer for monsters and princesses at an abandoned temple, but over the course of the night, monsters start going missing. It turns out that Mina Loveberry has been picking them off one by one, driven by her long-held belief that monsters are inherently evil and her duty to protect the temple.
They're not evil! They're my friends! Come on! This place is abandoned! Nothing sinister is going on!
Young warrior! Everything about these monsters and woosits is sinister!
Star and Marco try to reason with her, but things go sour when Miss Hayne shows up to enact her revenge on Marco. She nearly succeeds, but gets distracted by a hidden room opening up for her. As it turns out, the temple was the nursery of Eclipsa and her monster husband's half-breed daughter, Meteora. Overcome with a wave of memories, Miss Haynes remembers that she's actually Meteora, making her a lost heir to Muni.
Meteora, that is my name. At least it was my name a long, long time ago.
Mina buffs out and overwhelms Starko with the help of Romulus, giving Miss Haynes the chance to escape. Romulus and his guards arrest all of Star's monster friends for trespassing, showing her how deep the discrimination against monsters really runs in Muni. When Star tries to tell her mother that Miss Haynes is Eclipse's daughter, Queen Butterfly dismisses her, saying it's impossible. But before Star can investigate further, King River whisks her away on a hunting trip to distract her.
Hunting trip!
What? QB resumes preparing for Eclipse's trial as soon as the two of them are gone. When she asks Eclipse to point out her daughter in the family history book, Eclipse turns to a strange girls page named Festiva the Fun. The book claims that this is her daughter, but Eclipse insists that her daughter's name was Meteora and that she was part princess, part monster. Moon smuggles Meteora out of the tower and into the secret archive room. There, they discover that even the royal archives have been tampered with, and that they too list Festiva as Eclipse's daughter. So, Eclipse, Star, and Moon come up with a plan to trap the Magical High Commission into confessing what they did to Eclipse's daughter. After a game of Truth or Punishment, Trial Edition, the MHC finally admits that they gave Eclipse's daughter, Meteora, away at the request of her former husband, King Shastakan. The king couldn't stand to raise his wife's monster lover's baby, so he had his squire exchange Meteora with a peasant girl, who later became the Queen of Muni.
The High Commission has also been found guilty of tampering with Muni's history and omitting the truth from the Butterfly family for generations.
Although this means that Eclipse is no more guilty than the Magic High Commission in terms of crimes against humanity, it also means that Star Butterfly isn't technically related to the original Butterfly family at all. She insists that she's not even a real princess and releases Eclipse from her shackles before fleeing the courtroom. Meanwhile, Miss Haynes, aka Meteora, is back at St. Olga's trying to find answers of her own. She reactivates the old headmistress, St. Olga herself, who turns out to be the robot who raised Meteora after King Shastakan gave her up for adoption. She asks her to play back her memories, and when Gemini takes over her inner controls, we see Meteora having her individuality suppressed as a young adult, her tail hidden as a teen, and her magic squashed as a child. She realizes that she could have been Queen of Muni if not for her mother's Mumin husband, and as you could probably guess, Homegirl is not happy with it. She punches her robot mom into a wall, rips out Gemini's heart, and uses the heart as a bomb to blow up Rastakor. Picking up Rastakor's severed remnant of an arm, Meteora Butterfly walks back to Muni to take her rightful place on the throne.
Oh my gosh.
Look! Old photos from our days at the Bounce Lounge.
Can we just take photos some other time?
This episode is one of the best moments in the series! At Rebariat's wedding, Marco and Star get locked in a photo booth. Star isn't satisfied with any of their cute pics, so she makes Marco retake them over and over and over. It turns out that the reason why Marco can't take a solid BFF picture with Star is because he still feels weird about the fact that Star used to have a crush on him. They still haven't talked about it, and both of them admit that it kinda sucks. With their last $5 bill, Marco kisses Star in the final photo on the strip. Star's pretty horrified because not only is Marco her squire, she's also still dating Tom at this point. But even so, she steals the pics from the dispenser before she rushes off to save Ponyhead from Meteora's rampage. Eclipse and Moon speed off on their Warnicorns to try to find Meteora and bring her home peacefully. But as they follow her trail of destruction, they both realize that doing so might be harder than they thought. Meteora is growing bigger and stronger, and seems to be stealing sentient souls to munch on for sustenance.
How is she doing that?
Well, her tracks end here. She must be close. Let's try to find her.
Eddie, no! Stop! Get out of there!
They finally find her using her laser eyes to steal the bog people's spirits, leaving their bodies floating behind. At first, Eclipse tries to bring her down gently by reminding her that she's her mother, and promises to build a stronger relationship with her going forward. Unfortunately, Meteora flips out when her mom says that she can't steal the throne from Queen Butterfly, and Moon has no choice but to transform into her Muberty form and fight Meteora with force.
Please, Meteora, come back to me.
Eclipse tries to hold her back, and Moon is lasered in the eye by Meteora. Looking stunned, she flies into what looks like the portal to the realm of magic, with one of her eyes knocked out and the other eye matching Star's uncontrollable Muberty eyes. With Star as acting Queen of Muni while her mother is still missing, she and Marco come up with a plan to divide and conquer to save the kingdom. Marco volunteers to stay behind and do his best to prevent Meteora from breaching the castle. Star, on the other hand, will go to the realm of magic, despite knowing that she may lose her mind in there in the process and never come back. When Star finds her mom, Moon has absolutely no idea who she is. Star's compact reminder keeps announcing that her name is Star Butterfly, and she gets frustrated with it and throws it away. Unfortunately, Star forgets who she is about 2 seconds later and can't remember that she's supposed to take her mother home to help her defeat Meteora. Meanwhile, back on Muni, Marco's Magnificent Seven, featuring Tom, Hekapoo, Talon, Kelly, Ponyhead with a cyborg horn prosthesis, and Jorby, do their best to trap Meteora in a ring of demon fire, but it's no use. She slaps the flames away with her tail and continues on towards the castle. Thankfully, over in the realm of magic, Star's compact floats by, reminding her of her mission. She transforms into her Mewbirdie form at will and tries to drag her mom through the portal she created, but just before they leave, she gets distracted again. Zap back to Muni, the gang is being terrorized by Meteora with no plan for how to stop her. When Talon launches Ponyhead at her, Meteora steals Ponyhead's soul.
I don't hear nothing. She's dead, right? I won?
In the realm of magic, Star and Moon are still running around like two kindergartners on acid. They find an upside-down waterfall that transports them into other dimensions and decide to go exploring together. The firstborn finds the two of them, and although they try to run away from her, she banishes them both back to Muni. Marco and the gang regroup and decide to try putting Marco's bloomers over Meteora's eyes so that she can't eat any more souls. Talon and Tom bind her with trees and bury her underground, but she busts out of those restraints easily and takes down Talon, Hekapoo, and Kelly. With all seemingly lost, Marco admits to Tom that he and Star kissed.
I'm not leaving you! You're my best friend.
I kissed Star.
What?
Yeah, so you don't owe me anything. Now go. Wow, no hesitation.
Well, that was fast. With no other options, Marco faces Meteora alone. But before he's about to bite it, Tom swoops in for the save.
What are you doing?
Calling your bluff!
No, I really did kiss Star.
Oh, well, it's too late now.
Aw, Tom, you really have grown. Maybe I was wrong about you all along. Because Tom has so many souls trapped inside of his body, Meteora is unable to laser all of them out of him at once. He manages to protect Marco for a while, but ultimately, Meteora overpowers them and sucks out Marco's soul. Tom returns Marco's soulless balloon body to the castle where Star is just waking up. Moon is still nowhere to be found, so River summons his eagles and flies off to try to stop Meteora. Star and Tom try to take Marco's balloon to the sanctuary where they previously held the members of the Magic High Commission, but Star is unable to access it. Instead of giving up and hiding in the underworld with Tom, Star flies back to the castle to face Meteora head-on. Even in her Mewbirdie form, however, Star still can't defeat her. With every last bit of magic power she has, she blasts Meteora, but even that only puts a small dent in her stride.
So you want my power? Take it!
With zero magic left, Star can't even perform a simple Narwhal blast to save her own life. But luckily, Eclipsa shows up, taking Star's wand to use against her daughter. Eclipsa blasts Meteora with Black Velvet Inferno and slays her daughter with a large bubble that encapsulates her before shattering. All of the soulless balloon humans and monsters begin floating back down, returning to normal. Star is relieved that both Marco and Tom are safe, that is, until she sees Eclipsa staring at Meteora's lifeless body. Feeling horrible, Star kneels before Eclipsa and offers her the entire kingdom of Muni.
This wand was yours. It belongs to you. Things haven't been right since my family took the kingdom. The best thing I can do as queen is return what my family stole from you.
But just then, they hear the sound of a baby crying from within the crater on the floor. Surprise! Meteora's alive and has phoenixed into an infant again. Eclipsa gathers her baby, thanks Star again for the wand, and flies off to the monster temple, leaving Star and her friends in total disbelief. Glossaryck, suddenly able to speak coherent sentences again, explains to them that Globgor is Eclipsa's former lover, and that she's probably gonna go see him. He shrugs and says he's been trying to tell them this for months, before flying away to join Eclipsa and the wand. When Eclipsa arrives back at the temple, she blasts the back wall of Meteora's old nursery to reveal Globgor trapped inside a giant crystal.
Hello, my love. We're home.
Okay, so here's what that ending means. Star Butterfly is no longer the acting Queen of Muni, the Queen of Muni, or even the Princess of Muni. And I guarantee her parents are not going to be too happy that she gave their entire kingdom away to someone they had previously imprisoned for 300 years. Also, something tells me that Globgor is gonna want to seek retaliation against the Magic High Commission or even the citizens of Muni for the way that he was treated. Monster racism sucks, y'all. I get it. But I still don't want him to go like all Killmonger and destroy Star. What are you guys looking forward to most in Star vs. the Forces of Evil Season 4? Personally, I'm stoked to see where Marco and Star's relationship goes now that they've kissed. And I want to find out how the hell the Butterfly family is gonna get their kingdom back. Let me know what your predictions are in the comments below, and be sure to check out more Star videos to the left of my face. If you haven't donated to our Patreon yet, do it. My laser bug's gotta eat.